Hi boys and girls, it's Shane. I'm back in my sci-fi house. I know I just did a video on this place a moment ago, but first time being rented means first time doing several things. And we got an issue. I don't think it's supposed to do that. So we generally do used washers because if you ask an appliance repair person, they will tell you the new washers are garbage. And if you bought one recently, you know that the new ones are garbage. I've ran this empty, but this is the first time we ran it with actual clothes in it. So we got to figure out what's going on with that. Then I've got one more surprise. Oh, and by the way, we have guests that are staying here tonight. So we have to get this ready. We also have some under the sink leak in this plumbing that I've got to sort out. It seems like the leak is coming from up here. So I just backed this off. So I just removed this part from it and left the neoprene seal up here, which I think is all that it needs. I'm not sure. This is often like a paper ring, something like that. But this one's a little different and it feels spongy, and I'm wondering if it lowered the pressure that was being applied there. But I think the leak was coming from up here, so we're gonna have to test it. Next problem, the lights up here aren't coming on. So I gotta figure out what's happened. Have they thrown a breaker? I don't think that's possible because the black lights are on and the black lights would be on the same breaker. So what did they do? How could they have affected this? This has worked for weeks. Man, these guests were troublesome. They just unscrewed the bulbs. There's literally a switch for these lights, people. Come on. They didn't like the lights, so they unscrewed them. Okay, I'm recalculating the review as we speak. Let's go back to testing the sink now. So I'm gonna let the water fill up for a while. I'm going to block it off with something here. Make sure we don't have leaks now. Oh, still got water coming out right here. So your drain pipes are usually just finger tightened, and I'm taking this upper part up. And usually my rule of thumb is when I'm looking for a leak, I start as high as I can. If I see water there, then anything else I might think that's leaking on the way down is a problem. And I'm not a big fan of this flex pipe, so while we're at it, I'll probably change this out. But we've almost got this removed. Now we can just lift the basket out of the bottom of the sink. And yeah, that's what I thought. So the guys I had put this in didn't put the ring around the top here like they were supposed to, which is what that mysterious ring on the bottom was that came off of there. So I'm gonna scrub that out and clean it. And then we'll put that rubber seal here, and then we'll put that other part from the bottom, and that should fix it. So we will set this rubber piece right there. And this is going to fit down on it like so, and that's going to squeeze that down. Then it's going to compress the rubber from underneath and the rubber from up top. This one will go underneath, and that's how we will make it seal. So putting it all back together, this piece goes up. This piece is going to tighten on here. Come on. There it goes. Now if I need to, I can get my basin wrench to tighten it down, but before I tighten this too far, I want to get it kind of snug. I'm going to check again up top and make sure that the wiggling of tightening that down didn't unseat this part or wiggle it anywhere out of the way. And it doesn't look like it did. So I'm just going to pull down, holding this nice and still, downward pressure while I tighten this by hand. Then I'll grab it with my wrench here in just a little bit and tighten her down some more. Since I still got to work on the washing machine, I'm just going to leave this here for now, but we're going to go ahead and tighten this next part. So to do that, I'm going to loosen here, and then we're just going to hand tighten that part in. These just have to hand tighten. You don't need any thread tape on them or anything else. They can just hand tighten and compress. And that should hold without leaking. And then we'll recompress these, double check all of those. Now we need to dry it off real good so that we can leak test it. I'm gonna use some paper towels. I think paper towels are one of the best for this job. I'm gonna try to get all the areas that look wet to be dry. And then we'll turn the water on for just a minute and see if we've got any leaking happening. So I've got some water going on it like this. So that's letting it go around the edge so I can test the edge. And it's still gonna let some water go through the center. So we should be able to tell. And I'm just gonna watch for a minute under here and see if we get any leaking. Yeah, I think it's gonna be okay. I don't think we're having a leak right now. And so I think that's where the problem was. I'm gonna get a wrench and tighten this down. Well, seems like we got this part going, huh? That's good.